YouTube ARGs are brilliant. When done right, they can be an immersive and fascinating form of storytelling that can get millions and millions of views. But what happens when an ARG is done badly? Well, just look at mine. It was objectively awful. The clues were virtually non-existent, it was really confusing, and most of the videos were just repetitive. So let's take a look at what went wrong with my ARG and how you can make a better one. The biggest issue with my ARG is that it wasn't set up properly. Without a setup and no plan, it's extremely hard to keep the ARG heading in the same direction and not get distracted halfway through. The key to a good ARG is having an engaging storyline that's able to capture and most importantly keep the audience's attention. And without setup and planning, that's almost going to be impossible to do. Having little to no planning for my ARG also created another bigger issue. To put it simply, it was an absolute mess. Even I didn't know what was going on half the time, let alone the viewers. Due to the fact there wasn't a strong storyline from the start, it started to change and turn into something it wasn't, making for a really unengaging viewing experience. So to keep viewers engaged and wanting to follow along, your ARG has to be easy enough for everyone to understand. One of the main factors that made it confusing was there were barely any clues in the entire thing. No one's going to watch your ARG if the clues are really hard to work out. At that point, it just becomes a load of cryptic videos that don't mean anything. Instead of making actual clues, there was a one-off law drop video that attempted to explain everything that happened, but didn't. And in making that video, I'd broken the number one rule in storytelling. Showing the audience is far more important than just outright telling them. Doing that allows you to make a much more engaging story that people will actually want to watch. The one-off law drop video completely ruined any suspense that I'd made beforehand. And quite frankly, it's made the whole thing seem rushed. And if it feels like the creator has put no time and effort in, then why should a viewer put the time and effort to watch your ARG? If you're dropping hints and clues to the overarching story of ARG, make sure to show your audience and not just outright tell them. However, the thing I lacked most when making my ARG was... I bet you've probably inferred this by now, but I had completely no idea what I was doing. This was my first attempt at making a fully edited ARG, so obviously it wasn't going to be the best, but it was much, much closer to being the worst ARG ever made. I had watched ARGs in the past, so I knew what made a good one, but I had no idea what made a bad one. And that just comes down to experience. The more you do something, obviously, the better you're going to get at it. So if you want to go write your own ARG, go, do it. Open Google Docs, open Word, and just start writing. It doesn't matter if it's terrible to start with, the only thing that matters is that it gets better. And just don't make it as bad as mine.